All right, you got me. 10:11. I said 10:10 I was going to start. It's 10:11. Oh, well. This is Dylan Lang, and welcome you to a brand new episode of the Comic Haul, my weekly show where I show off all the comics that I bought this week in order to try to get you guys and gals to go to your local comic book store and pick these books up and help keep the comic book industry alive. Some interesting stuff coming out this week. It's a little pricey this week due to the fact that most of DC's $2.99 books are double size this week due to them hitting a milestone, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But first, let's show you the comic haul for this week. Yeah, a lot of stuff this week. We start with a book that I think I got maybe the first couple issues when Rebirth came, but it just, I couldn't buy everything. And it didn't really interest me at the time, even though I like the character and I hate what they're going to be doing with him in the movies. But when I found out that with issue 25, Stefan Sejic is going to take the art chores on this book, and he draws Sunstone, one of my favorite adult comic book type things, I wanted to pick it up. He also did a wonderful run on Witchblade a few years back, so I just wanted to pick it up. So we start with Aquaman number 25. Brand new story arc, obviously aiming for the trying to get the connection to the Aquaman movie coming up. I'm still not a big fan of the actor playing Aquaman in that one, but this one we get Dan Abnett and Stefan Sejic bringing you their usual stuff. Earthquake. No, not really. So Stefan's doing his regular beautiful artwork, introducing an introduction of a new character that we've seen before in the DC universe, but not in the new DC universe. Let's see, do we get a picture of her? There she is right there. Welcome to Dolphin, reappearing in the DC Rebirth. And here is, as I said, them aiming more for the movie version of Aquaman, which I'm not a big fan of, but I am a fan of Stefan Sejic, so I may be starting to add this to my list. This will be $2.99 when it starts back up with issue 26. But this week, this is the first of many issue 25s because the Rebirth book set are twice a month, have now reached issue 25, and they're going to be double sized because it's 25. So here's the first of them, Aquaman number 25. As I said, Stefan Sejic artwork is gorgeous. We'll see what happens. This book has been spectacular so far. Batman, number 25. This is double-sized also. It's the beginning of a new story arc, The War of Jokes and Riddles. Tom King is knocking it out the park. He is also joined by Mikel Janin, who did the I Am Suicide storyline, which was phenomenal artwork. So we get a double-sized issue of Mikel Janin artwork with Tom King's fantastic story detailing a war between the Joker and the Riddler early on in Batman's career. It is done in flashback format. So for those who read issue 24 and had that cliffhanger ending, it kind of answers it in the last page, but it kind of doesn't. What it turned out to be, but I think it kind of answers it. I'm not going to show you that page though. So, Batman number 25, double-sized issue. Green Lantern number 25. Guess what? Double-sized issue. Again, these books are usually $2.99. They are $3.99 this week. So if you have been reading these books, just be aware of the dollar increase. It'll go back to normal in 2 weeks, which will make it July. So this is written by Sam Humphries with art by Robson Rocha and inks by Daniel Henriquez. And I think Robson Rocha's artwork is slightly different than it has been. And I kind of dig in the artwork he's got going on here. I don't recall when he does the art for Green Lantern it looking like this. So maybe he's trying something new. I think it's gorgeous. I think the artwork is phenomenal. And it's just, I don't know what else to say. It looks absolutely amazing. So got to pick it up for that reason too. Green Lantern number 25. And a lot of these, I think, are starting storylines. I know Aquaman's starting a storyline. Batman's starting a new storyline. And I think this is more like Green Lanterns. It's just sort of a one-shot that leads to the next big story arc. Let's see. Yeah, it leads to the next big story arc. So, and then there's also that case because the next one we're going to show you, a $2.99 book that is double-sized because it's issue 25, is Superman number 25, another really good series. This is the end of a storyline, Black Dawn, written by Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, with art by Doug Mahnke and Patrick Gleason. Inks by Jaime Mendoza, Mick Gray, Joe Prado, Ray McCarthy, Scott Hanna, and Matt Santorelli. So it's John versus Clark. And it ends the Black Dawn storyline that's going on. And is continuing making Superman great. So now we get to the regular $3.99 books, which aren't double-sized, but are monthly, so you only get them once a month. Speaking of Superman, Super Sons number 5 has written by Peter Tomasi, with art by, where are you? Art by Allison Borges. It's a one-shot story with John taking on Damian in the Batcave. So very interesting stuff. I don't know how this is going to be affected by what's been happening in Superman, so we'll see. Hopefully, since it's both written by Peter J. Tomasi, it'll probably be connected in some way. Next up, we have Batwoman number 4. Another good book written by Marguerite Bennett, James Tynion IV, art by Steve Epting. Again, gorgeous artwork. They're doing a phenomenal job with the story. Loving it. I'm loving it. So really cool stuff. There's one shot there it is. I really liked of her really showing off her Batman-esseness. So Batwoman is new this week also. We have a $2.99 book, though. The only one out this week, I believe, is Harley Quinn, number 22. So in 3 issues, we'll get a double-sized Harley Quinn book. This one starts a new storyline called The Family Circles, and looks like we're going to see Harley's parents, which we've never done before, I don't think. Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner are knocking it out of the park. John Timms is the artist on this one. And you also, again, are continuing to get a backup storyline by Jimmy Palmiotti and her creator, Paul Dini, with art by Brett Blevins and inks by Jay Bones. So you get that as well. So you get a backup storyline co-written by Paul Dini, who created the character, and also you have the regular Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Conner story. Some nice John Timms artwork. So that's good on that. Now, this DC Rebirth book is $4.99. It's All-Star Batman number 11. It's Scott Snyder, who I haven't been enjoying his runs on Batman, which is an unpopular opinion. Most people do. Art this time is by Raphael Albuquerque, continuing the first Ally storyline. So continued, I guess, be pretty good, but I'm not as big of a fan of Scott Snyder's stories in Batman, and with him being the main guy to write the new Batman summer series, the summer what do we call it, event series. We'll see what happens. I don't know, just something about it. Now we get some fun stuff. Couple months ago, DC superheroes teamed up with Hanna-Barbera characters for some really excellent books that all came out on the 5th week. They became so popular that they decided we're going to do it again, but this time we're going to use Looney Tunes characters. And the result has been fairly fascinating. We had a couple, I think, last week, and we have a couple this week. We've got Wonder Woman and Tasmanian Devil. And they get really good creative teams on this. You've got Tony Bedard and Barry Kitson and John Floyd. Barry Kitson, I haven't seen his art in a while, and I love his stuff. And Tony Bedard is writing. So it's Wonder Woman taking on the Tasmanian Devil that we know, but it's the DC Universe version of it. Now, what they're also doing is, because it is $4.99, they do one big main story, and then they do a backup story, which is going to be more done in the style of the cartoon, which I think is, you know, brave. It's written by Tony Bedard with the art this time by Ben Caldwell. So, you know, you get both sides of the story, though the main story is a bit bigger than the small story, but at least you get both sides of the story. So you get one side and the other. So fairly interesting about that. And also we have Lobo and Roadrunner, which is a really interesting one, especially with artwork by Kelly Jones. And inks are written by Bill Morrison, who I think was a guy who wrote a lot of the Simpsons books. But Kelly Jones' artwork is always fun to see. And the fact that you have Lobo and the Coyote is in there, as well as the Roadrunner. It's yeah, it's interesting. You get Acme involved in it as well. And there's Lobo. And again, as I said, you get a backup storyline done in the cartoon format. Bill Morrison script and art. So he's doing Lobo, and this time he's got Bugs Bunny. Oh, there's Roadrunner. So Roadrunner is going to be in this appearance. So that's good. So we still haven't seen Elmer Fudd and Batman, and we still haven't seen Jonah Hex and Yosemite Sam. I think those are coming up soon, so that should be fun. So that's it for those. One book from Young Animal, which I really love, is Cave Carson Has a Cybernetic Guy #9. Michael Avon Oeming artwork is the main reason for it. John Rivera and Gerard Way writing the story. And the fact that Gerard Way has had a little bit of leeway in using some of the characters from DC Universe. Here, Shining Knight is in this one. And we also get Wild Dog, who's a regular, who I actually love. Actually, that's a little too gory for the show, so I'll just do that. So you can see Wild Dog. It's always fun to see that. And it's bizarre and weird and what you expect from Young Animal. That's it for DC. Marvel. I'm dropping Marvel left and right, but there also is some new ones that keep popping up, and this one is intriguing to me because Spider-Man has always been my first comic, the one that got me into the comics in the first place. I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt. My dad gave me his comic book collection, which was all Spider-Man books, and that was what my first superhero, my favorite superhero was. And still technically it kind of is, even though I haven't really been reading his stuff too much. But we get Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man #1, written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Adam Kubert. And get, you know, a little bit more of what we expect from Spider-Man, more of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, not the world traveler who we have in Dan Slott's Amazing Spider-Man. But that's good. You need to have different takes on the character to keep it interesting. So. And there's an interesting cliffhanger going on, and we get him hanging out with Human Torch and Ant-Man. Looks like it appears in this issue as well, and a few other things as well. And Zdarsky, who is mostly known for his artwork on sex criminals, has become a good, steady writer in his own right, writing the Jughead book for Archie for a while and writing Howard the Duck for Marvel. So he's getting his feet wet. So now they gave him the keys to Spider-Man, and now he's doing that one. Had a pretty nice killer cliffhanger. And there's actually, I think, a backup story in this one as well. So this is $4.99 also for #1 issue, but it's a bit thicker. Yeah, it is a backup story. It's written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Goran Parlov. So he takes on Black Widow. So you get two stories in here. One is the continuing story with Adam Kubert artwork, which looks pretty nice actually. And you get appearances by, I said, Ant-Man and Human Torch, and a pretty good cliffhanger, which I'm happy about. The Falcon looks like he popped up in it as well. So should be very interesting. So I'm going to keep my eye on that one. Nick Fury #3, James Robinson and Aiko. They are continuing to try to out Steranko, and to be honest, their artwork is actually looking pretty sweet. And looking very Steranko-esque, if I do say so myself. Particularly with the fight scenes and the colors and the the craziness. So gotta love some Nick Fury there. America #4 is finally out. It's written by Gabby Rivera with art by Joe Quinones and Ming Doyle, and inks by Joe Rivera and Doyle and Quinones. So we get America in there. Pretty good storyline so far that we've seen. And some more of that. Next up, we have Man-Thing #5, which is the final issue of the miniseries written by R.L. Stine. That R.L. Stine, with art by German Peralta. So we finish up his first storyline. If he does another one, we'll see. But it's good artwork, and it's R.L. Stine. You know, everyone knows who R.L. Stine is. And in this book also, R.L. Stine does a backup story with a twist ending, as he always does. And also, his final issue, Man-Thing, also has a twist ending. So pretty interesting. So he's basically setting up for possibly a second one. So we'll see. It's R.L. Stine. Silver Surfer #12, Dan Slott and Mike Allred. I've talked about this all the time. Dan Slott is a huge Doctor Who fan, but he's never been able to write a Doctor Who comic. So when he was given the opportunity to pick another book, he decided, let me see what I can do to do a Doctor Who-esque book in the Marvel Universe, but not be Doctor Who. So he picked the Silver Surfer, got Mike Allred to be the artist on every issue. They did a first volume, which ran to Secret War, I think, and then when Secret War happened, they restarted again, and we're up to another issue 12. I don't know if this is going to be the final issue or not. They have a teaser for an issue 13, but it's like, we'll see. It doesn't say when or if it's coming and what's going on with that. So, but it's Dan Slott's version of Doctor Who. Silver Surfer's Doctor Who. Dawn Greenwood is his assistant or his companion. And he's able to play with that, and he's able to do Doctor Who-esque type of stuff, particularly with Mike Allred artwork, you know, aliens and outer space stuff and different dimensions and crazy stuff. And it still has the emotional resonance that you expect from a Doctor Who type of story, as well as a good action-packed space opera. So Silver Surfer has been one of those consistently good books, and we will see if it continues. It does say in issue 13, but at this point, with the way Marvel is, it's anyone's guess if it's going to happen. We end Marvel with 2 of their licensed books. They are co-owned by Disney now, so they get to do Star Wars books. So we have Darth Vader #2. This is the second volume of Darth Vader. The first one was excellent, it went to issue 20. It went to issue 25. So pick up the trades. It covers Darth Vader, like leading up to like Rogue One stuff. So it's like it's a few years. I think it is. No, it's after Star Wars. I'm sorry. It's after Star Wars. So it's what happens after Star Wars. This is basically Darth Vader year 1. This first issue took place exactly right after the end of The Revenge of the Sith, and now we're getting Darth Vader learning his way around. Charles Soule is writer, Giuseppe Camuncoli artist, Cam Smith is the inker. So you get a young, brash Darth Vader as he's trying to adjust to his life now, and the Emperor is adjusting to them finally taking over the universe and the Empire now growing. So a good way to look at the book, and interesting thing like that. Darth Maul miniseries on issue #4. Cullen Bunn, writer. Luke Ross, artist. Darth Maul was one of those characters like Boba Fett that, you know, a lot of people really, really enjoy, but he had very little screen time, so people have been doing these stories. And you've also connected it to the Clone Wars TV show and Rebels as well. So you get a little good combination of that stuff as well. That's it for Marvel. Finally, Independence. I am really excited for this book, and I'm finally glad to see it because I love the writer, love the writer. And I was looking through the artwork, and I was like, you know what, the artwork's actually pretty damn good, and it's a really good storyline. It's Crosswind from Image Comics, written by Gail Simone with art by Kat Staggs. And I don't know if you remember back in the 80s, there used to be a wide variety of movies where children and grown-ups would switch bodies. So the child was in the grown-up's body and the grown-up was in the child's body. And then they would remember, the child thinking that it'd be great to be a grown-up, and turns out that it's not so great. And then the grown-up is happy to be a kid again, discovered how hard it was. Well, this is similar, but it takes a different look at it. Just look at the artwork real quick. The character is a hitman and a put-upon housewife. And basically, they switch bodies. So the put-upon housewife is in the body of the hitman, and the hitman is in the body of the put-upon housewife. So it should be a very interesting idea. I like the idea a lot, and I can't read the book. So Crosswind #1, I think, is probably going to be the book of the week. So definitely check that out. All Yeah Revolution. I love All Yeah Comics. They've done Little Archies, and they've done DC superheroes and stuff like that. Well, now they get the chance to do a huge crossover. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Autobots, and ROM. And in the same style that Art Balthazar is. He doesn't have Franco with him on this one. So this is just all Art Balthazar himself. But it's got the same general storytelling, and it's for all ages, and grown-ups will find a lot of fun stuff about it, and kids will like the pretty drawings too. This you should not show kids. Z Nation #3 from Dynamite, based on the TV series of Sci-Fi. What's great about this is they actually got one of the co-creators of the show, Craig Engler, to write this book, along with comic writer Fred Van Lent, with art by Ed Jumena. This takes is basically a prequel to what goes on in the TV show. But the fact that you got Craig Engler to write the story and use a similar, keep the similar style of bizarreness and stuff like that to it is a plus. So Z Nation #3 is out this week. Old Guard #5. I think this is the last issue for a little while. Greg Rucka and Javier Fernandez. Is it Javier? Leandro. I'm sorry, Leandro Fernandez. It's nice looking artwork. Again, definitely not for kids. Greg Rucka always writes a strong female character. And it's pretty nice artwork. So I will see if they do a second part. I will see if I hang up with it. I don't know if I will or not, but it's Greg Rucka and it's Leandro Fernandez. It's still pretty good. Red Sonja continues to surprise me about how good it is. This issue #6 comes out this week. This is one of the multitude of covers. Amy Chu writer, Carlos Gomez artist. This ends the first story arc and sets up the next story arc with Red Sonja still in present day New York City. So we're going to get to see some more fish out of water stuff as well. So should be a lot of fun. So there's that. And finally, the final issue of The Deep from Boom Studios. Tom Taylor, James Brower. Kind of remind me of The Incredibles. That's why I picked it up. It's an all-ages book about a family that investigates under the sea. I like the artwork, and the story seems fairly interesting, so I figured I'd keep up with it. And this is the final issue of the first miniseries, so we'll see if the second one comes out. So that's it for the regular comics. Also out this week is trade paperback. I love this series, and it started off as a digital-only series. It's only about 10 pages, and then it became so popular that they combined a number of the series together into a comic, and it's called the DC Comics Bombshells. This is the 4th trade paperback. I think there's still one more left to do because they just wrapped up the first series in the comic format. So I think we've got one more trade of this to come in the first series before they bring in the second series. It's basically an alternate reality where the DC comic female superheroes are fighting in World War II. There's Wonder Woman, Batgirl, and just all kinds of stuff. There's a Zatanna, and there's a Katana, and there's a Mara, you know, and it takes place during World War II. So this series is takes place in the Northern Africa portion of World War II. It's written by Marguerite Bennett with art by Lara Braga, Mirka Andolfo, and Marguerite Salvage. So they all jump around and do various ones because, as I said, it is a digital-only series first and foremost, and then it comes out in comic format, and then it comes out in trades. So I've read the first two trades. There's a Hawk Girl. I've read the first two trades. I just haven't read the third one yet, and this is the fourth one, so I wanted to pick it up beforehand. But it is a fascinating look at an alternate reality, and if you want really strong female characters, this is the book for you. So this trade came out this week, so you can get that at your local comic store. It'll be out via Amazon if you don't want to go to your local comic store next week. So you'll have to wait till then if you don't want to get your local comic store. But go to your local comic store and get it now if you want. So that's it for this week's Comic Haul. Just real quick, I just got the first flyer for Baltimore Comic-Con. My local LCS, the owner of it, is the guy who created the Baltimore Comic-Con. It is consistently on creators' top 10, in fact, more like top 5 conventions of the year that they'd never want to miss because it is more comic-oriented than, say, like a San Diego or a Chicago. And it's a lot of fun. I've been numerous times, and it's, I think, 15 or 16-year history. So very enjoyable. This year, Frank Miller is going to be their special guest on Friday. But we've got more than 200 guests, including Neil Adams, Lee Bermejo, Mark Buckingham, Frank Cho, Jerry Conway, Steve Conley, Amanda Connor, David Finch, Ramona Fraden, Bob Fujitani, J.G. Jones, Matt Kint, Tom King, Kazu Kobayushi, Hope Larson, David Marquez, Ed McGuinness, Steve McNiven, Jamar Nichols, Denny O'Neil, Jimmy Palmiotti, David Peterson, Brandon Peterson, Keith Pollard, Stan Sakai, Walter Simonson, Charles Soule, Peter Tomasi, James Tynion IV, Mark Wade, Bill Willingham, Marv Wolfman, and there's a whole lot more, but these are the big ones. So it is September 22nd, 23rd, 24th, so the first full weekend of autumn, and the first day of autumn, actually, occurs during the Baltimore Comic-Con. It's downtown Baltimore in the convention center. There is plenty of parking. It's within walking distance of the Inner Harbor, and also walking distance of Camden Yards if you want to take in a crappy Orioles game. Or I don't know if the football Ravens team, they might be at home that weekend. I'm not 100% certain. Or they might be away. I'm not sure. That might be the London trip, actually, I think about it. But the Ravens Stadium's right nearby there, but it's a quick walk. It's about a 2-block walk to the Inner Harbor, so you can enjoy the Inner Harbor, and it's right there in the heart of the Baltimore tourism section. So definitely worth it. It is a very well-attended convention. Lots of cosplaying also. They have costume contests. You get to be up close and personal with the artists and writers, and there's a lot of people selling stuff. And then they do have some panels there as well to get your interest up on that. And that's just the first flyer. It's not for a few months. It's June 23rd, so it's actually June, July, August. It's still 3 months away, so we still might hear more information about that. So Baltimore Comic-Con, put it on your calendar, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. My plan is to be there 2 times of the 3 days, more than likely Saturday and Sunday. One day along with my friend Will Fish, and one with my family. So we will see how that all works out and plays out in the end. But it's well worth it, and I can't wait to go. So on that note, I'm going to bid you a fond farewell. Go to your local comic book store. If you don't know where your local comic book store is, go to your search engine, type in Comic Shop Locator Service, or CSLS. Go to the website. When it pops up, type in your zip code. It'll give you the listing of all the comic book stores within about a 20-mile radius of your zip code. You go find one you want to go to, check out, check out some of the books I showed you there. Check out what else they have. They got all kinds of stuff, not just superheroes. They got all kinds of stuff right there. And a lot of them have sales. My comic store this week has a huge 50% off sale on everything: action figures, pops, back issues, trade paperbacks, baseball cards, t-shirts, posters, all kinds of cool stuff. So I think I might actually maybe sneak in tomorrow and maybe pick up some pops at half price. You get 2 for the price of 1, basically. So we shall see. We shall see. So good old comps, so they might be having special deals this week. Sometimes they get creators to come in when you least expect it. That's happened at my store a few times as well. And just go in and browse. Comic book stores are a lot different than they were in the early 90s. So you're definitely worthwhile to check it out. If you don't like the one that you pick, there is plenty more around the area. Go to another one until you find one you like. And, you know, it is women are one of the fastest growing comic book fans out there. So if you're a woman out there and watching it, don't feel embarrassed about going to a comic book store. You shouldn't, because there are lots of women there now. Some of them actually work there too. And most comic book shops are clean, nice, well lit, and very well organized. So check it out. Have fun. I will see you next week, hopefully. Come watch my regular show, Dylan Knows, which will be on tomorrow night at 9:30. It's been a rough week here at Dylan Knows headquarters for a number of my friends have lost family members, and we lost one of our own Snark Alec friends. I will be eulogizing her and mentioning the family members that we lost from the other my other Snark Alec group's family, plus some other stuff to get in there. So definitely check it out, 9:30 p.m. tomorrow night, which is Saturday. So if you're watching this on tape delay or whatever, check it out Saturday night, 9:30 live, or later in the week, whatever. I will post it shortly after I'm done recording it. So same with this. If you did not watch this live, I had one viewer watching live the whole time. Thank you for watching, viewer. And for those who missed it, I will be uploading this very soon to YouTube. I should be sharing it within the next hour or so. Okay, so enjoy, have fun, read comics. We're gonna get a lot of rain coming from tropical storm early tomorrow morning, so I get to sleep in a little bit and heck, maybe even read some comics. All right, bye guys.